welcome to this very special Adelaide Fringe Professional Development session called Consideration Edinburgh. My name is Andy Beecroft. I'm the Marketplace Manager for Adelaide Fringe's International Marketplace Honeypot. I'd like to acknowledge I'm joining you today from the lands of the Kaurna people and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. The title of this session, as I say, is Consideration Edinburgh. So we wanted to give you kind of some contextual pointers in terms of what you might like to think about when taking your work over to Edinburgh. And there's lots of resources that are available to artists. There's a great resource called the Edinburgh Festival Fringe Society in Edinburgh, and they have an amazing team there who are really sort of ready and engaged to kind of really answer any questions, and they have resources themselves on their Fringe Connect model, as well as the resources in the team we have here. But I think it's really good and really useful to sort of kind of hear from three great speakers who have got their own experience and have been to Edinburgh themselves on numerous occasions under different guises. So I'm really, really pleased to be able to welcome you today, three great speakers. We've got Bronwyn Batten. So Bronwyn Batten is an award-winning Australian theatre artist with over 10 years of experience of writing, producing and performing her own work nationally and internationally. And Bron's work has travelled all around the world and been presented at prestigious venues and festivals such as the Soho Theatre in London, La Puta Calais in Paris, Dark Mofo in Tasmania, the Melbourne Theatre Company, the Malthouse Theatre, the Performance Space in Sydney, Vital Statistics in South Australia, as well as Adelaide Fringe and others as well to boot. Bron won the Summerhall Edinburgh Fringe Touring Award in 2019 and took Waterloo to Summerhall in 2022 for the season.
That's
We're
right.
also joined by Deb Wilkes, Director of Cluster Arts. Deb is well known in the Australian circus scene. Her dedication to the performing arts has seen her working in the field for over 20 years and has definitely been a driving force in the Australian circus. She's worked with many emerging and established artists and has a passion for improving the business skills of artists and building the value of arts to non-artists, which has led to the formation of Cluster Arts. And Cluster Arts itself is a global conduit for Australian artists in circus and physical theatre. They advocate and elevate artists' work. And in 2022, Cluster Arts took a staggering 10 shows to the Edinburgh Fringe for the season, with 57 artists that were taking part in those 10 shows. And finally, we've got Richard Jordan, a London-based Olivier and Tony award-winning producer. Richard is the producer with Richard Jordan Productions and has commissioned and produced over 250 productions around the world, including 80 world premieres, and has produced and collaborated with many of the world's leading theatres. He's also an international producing partner at the Merigong Theatre Company in Australia and the Chicago Shakespeare Theatre. And Richard also writes a weekly online column for the Stage newspaper and has been going to Edinburgh since 1987. So yeah, I guess they all bring a rich tapestry of experiences and stories from Edinburgh. And we'll dig deeper into those as we go along today. So thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Maybe we'll just go around the room quickly, just if there's anything else you want to add about who you are and your affiliation with Edinburgh. Maybe we'll start with you, Bron.
Yeah, I'm here on Wurundjeri and Boomerang Land here tonight in Naarm in Melbourne. And I've been to Edinburgh 3 times. So I've done shows at Gilded Balloon, Underbelly, Cowgate and Summerhall was the last one that I've done. And these have all been solo works presented at the festival. So that's my perspective and experience of Edinburgh.
Great. Thanks, Bron. And yourself, Deb?
I'm in Meanjin at the moment, Brisbane, on the lands of the Yagara and Turrbal people. My first Edinburgh was 2017, when I went along kind of on a little bit of an expedition to have a suss it all out. But one of our clients, Casa Circus, was performing there as well. So that was kind of my first Edinburgh, and I've been there each year since then. Obviously not through COVID, but yeah.
So thanks, Deb. And Richard, finally, anything else that you might want to add?
No, I mean, as Andy said, I was about 12 years old when I first came to Edinburgh in 1987, and I've been coming every year since. And then, as I say, when I started in the theatre at 16, I came up then as a stage manager, and then I started producing, and in 1999 did my first show in Edinburgh. So in many ways, Edinburgh gave me my career. So it's a very sort of special place to keep coming back to and watch how it's evolved and how it's changed over the years, and still its real importance in the whole theatre ecology globally.
Yeah, and I guess that's a good starting point, really. I mean, in terms of contextualizing Edinburgh Fringe and the festival, it is obviously the world's biggest arts festival, and it is, I guess, an event which attracts thousands and thousands of people each year to make that pilgrimage to a city and a festival which for some is a goal to achieve many varying different degrees of goals and aspirations. I mean, to give it some sort of context in terms of its size and its depth, I mean, as I say, it's the largest open access festival in the world. Last year in 2022, off the back of COVID, they sold 2.2 million tickets. There were 3,646 shows that were performed from 63 countries there last year, and that's a slight increase on obviously the COVID years. But prior to that, they were presenting over 4,500 shows at some times. To give you an idea of the number of artists and performances, there's over 53,000 performances across the festival for the whole 3 weeks. So it really is, it becomes a huge, I guess, 24-hour festival hub and site, which attracts not only the shows and companies that present there, but also a rich tapestry of industry, spectators and tourists. So it really is, I guess, in terms of its numbers, a behemoth of a festival, which lends itself to the sort of challenging and difficult nature that sort of you're faced in terms of those numbers alone. But people do go back year in, year out, or they come, they present for the first time because they have a reason to do so. So I guess it'd be nice to sort of hear from each of you sort of what you can tell me about your first Edinburgh Fringe and what attracted you to the city and the festival. Brom, I might start with you, please.
I first performed there in 2016, but I first went as a punter in 2006. And that's sort of the advice I give to lots of artists who ask me if it's possible, if you can, to go as a punter before you take a show there. You might decide that